welcome back to the Give and Go. Coach Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, y'all?
The 2025-2026 season is upon us, and we're here to predict the winners of the top 5 leagues in world football, plus the UEFA Champions Leagues. Folks, this is a prophecy. This is fact. This is the truth of what's going to come this season. No lies will be told today, correct?
Oh, correct.
Yeah. I feel good.
No, I feel really, really good going into the season.
Really good
Very excited, too.
And we're going to do the classic draw format here. Pull out a name, see what league we're going to talk about. Salts, start us off. Where are we going? What are we predicting first?
I'll get the predictions going already. I'm picking France right here. Watch. Let's see. It's going to be right here. All right, here we go. Just so everyone can see.
Yeah,
no
see.
funny
let's
business.
See.
Ah, shit. It's Bundesliga. We're going Germany first.
We're going to the Bundesliga. And the way that I formatted my takes were in regards to the Champions League spots. So my predictions start at number 4, and they work their way up.
Okay.
Okay? Is that fair?
I think so, yeah.
Or do you just want to go straight up? Because some of these leagues, if we do straight up, it's going to be a 5-minute video, man.
That's okay. I think that's okay in some cases.
Let me work my way up to it, because in the Bundesliga, it doesn't really get fun when you look at the championship contender, because I think now more than ever, the gap is starting to get wider, more wide than it was last year, and a return to form for who I believe will be Bayern Munich. And I said I would start at 4, but let me just acknowledge the top team. Bayern Munich's going to win this league, no?
Oh, yeah. No, this one's set. Bayern Munich are going to win the league. Can I go in on it, or should we wait?
Go ahead. With Bundesliga, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just think the momentum that Vincent Kompany and Bayern Munich started back in January, the momentum that they're on right now, it's just going to be way too much for the Bundesliga opponents that await them this year. I mean, I'm looking at players like Michael Olise, who had a fantastic second half of the season last year, really finding his form out on that right wing. He's going to be more prominent this year. He's going to be fantastic. He's really growing into that role that Kompany has for him as probably their most offensive threat from a wide position. Now, here's the thing. You look at the other side, Luis Diaz is now a part of this team. And I think that's a huge acquisition. It's something that you cannot ignore. When he gets the ball, he can go anywhere with it. He's one of the best direct wingers in the world. Luis Diaz is now part of Bayern Munich. You add in the fact that Harry Kane is the glue up top, scoring goals for fun in the Bundesliga. There's been a massive upgrade in Bayern's offense. And the thing is, last year, their offense was already elite, scoring damn near 100 goals in the Bundesliga. It's ridiculous. So their offense has gotten better. Their defense has also been improving as well. Joshua Kimmich, Goretzka's back. I think the central core of Bayern Munich is improving, and you consider the fact that they also just got Jonathan Tah from their rivals Bayer Leverkusen. Their defense is getting stronger. So the momentum that Bayern Munich are on right now, considering that they already won the league last year, I just think they're going to keep rising. So for me, it's not a question of Bayern Munich going to win the Bundesliga. They are. For me, I actually see Bayern Munich as a true threat in the Champions League this upcoming season.
We'll get to that one for sure. And a question of where they land in the rankings of Champions League contenders. But in the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich just got better. They just got better. That's how I see this. They just improved. They went from an 8.5 team to a 9, potentially 9.5 out of 10 team, getting Luis Diaz and then improving their defense with Jonathan Tah. I think that was a great signing, because we've been questionable about Upamecano, about Kim Min-jae, and finally they get a defender that I feel much more trusted, much more reliable in that back line. Still has a good amount to prove as an elite center back, but he's there, bro. He can definitely be a much better prospect than those two guys. And what they end up losing really isn't much. I mean, Bayern fans weren't big on Palhinha, and they loaned him out to Tottenham, I believe, so they got rid of him. And, I mean, they just didn't really lose that many players. So I think they only got better. I think it's been a rebuilding process for Bayern, starting from the moment where they lost the league to Bayer Leverkusen in that incredible undefeated season, getting it back next year. The rebuilding process is almost complete. It doesn't get fully complete until they win a UEFA Champions League. But this year, it could definitely be in the cards for them, given the way that they've shaped themselves up. So I have Bayern Munich winning the league by a good margin, because I also think most of the other teams in the Bundesliga low-key might have gotten worse.
Yeah, and I think that's where it gets a little depressing, especially when you look at Leverkusen, man. I mean, let's just go through it. Tah, Xhaka now, by the way. Florian Wirtz, the German wunderkind. Frimpong, gone.
Xabi Alonso.
All gone. So half the team's gone. The guy who directed them tactically also gone. I just don't think you can replace it. I will say the scouting team have tried to. They tried to cover these positions, getting Maza from Hertha Berlin. We actually saw him play.
Bro.
He was decent. He was their definite standout player. But, he's young. He's got a lot to do if he wants to cover that Wirtz-esque position. Same with Malik Tillman. I think he was fantastic in the Eredivisie, but I think the step up to the Bundesliga is gonna take some time for him to really get going. And can you ask him to do this same thing as Florian Wirtz? Probably not. So for me, there's just too many questions when it comes to this Leverkusen side, and it just makes it easier for Bayern.
Yeah, they also got Kwanzaa to try to replace Jonathan Tah. Kwanzaa's solid. I'm interested to see how he can do a whole season as a starter, though. I can't really give an opinion on him because I've only seen him as a rotational player. Now he's going to have the keys to that defense. Can he step up? I think the potential is there. But we'll see. I hope the Bundesliga is kind to him. I think it might be. And then also getting Erik ten Hag to lead the team instead. I see a team that's trying to stay relevant. They're trying to stay competitive. But ultimately, it's a team that I do have ranked as the fourth best team in Germany now. I think they dropped from second place to fourth with these losses and the additions that they've made.
Yeah, and just to kind of continue this trend of just ultimately non-contenders in the Bundesliga, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lump Frankfurt, Dortmund, Freiburg, Mainz, Leipzig, even throw in Werder Bremen and Stuttgart. All of those teams, I'm basically putting them in the exact same category. They're all very offensive, which actually makes the Bundesliga super fun to watch because when Bayern Munich or Leverkusen do play against these teams, there's goals. There's a lot of goals to be had. So this year's going to be fun in the Bundesliga, don't get me wrong, but they all have the same problem. It's not offense. When Frankfurt, their problem last year was not goals. Marmoush carried them the first half of the season. He's gone. Well, Ekitike stepped up, and they were fine, honestly, and they had a good third-place finish. It's midfield, and it's also just the inability of their defense to really handle an established team like Bayern Munich. We saw Frankfurt play last year with high hopes that they could beat Bayern Munich or even Leverkusen, and almost always we saw huge holes in the midfield and the defense that we just Frankfurt's not going to be able to do it. We've seen Dortmund consistently try for the last 2 years. Their offense is great. Goals aren't the problem. It's their game management in midfield. It's their defense not being able to hold Harry Kane and Michael Olise for 90 minutes. I think the same problems exist with all of these teams. Their offense is great. Their game management is going to kill them overall.
Yeah, that's why the debate as to who gets into the top four is really fun, though.
Yeah.
It's really fun because I considered Mainz. I considered Freiburg. I thought about Frankfurt. But unfortunately, I had to bid them adieu. Who gets into those top four? I have Bayer Leverkusen in fourth. My hot take for the Bundesliga this year is I have RB Leipzig returning to form. I have them returning to form. I think what happened last year was the worst that Leipzig could have gone through or has gone through in probably the last 8-7 years.
Bad.
Marco Rose had a terrible, terrible campaign as manager in both the UEFA Champions League and the Bundesliga, finishing off in 7th place. For a team as bad as what we saw, they still end up in 7th place. And so I think the fact that this team hasn't really lost many pieces in the transfer market, is a very young team overall, and has acquired some solid talent, does give them the opportunity to work off of the down season they had last year and bounce right back up, especially when you got guys like Xavi Simons still with the team. He didn't end up going to Chelsea. He's still a very young player, building that role, building up that skill for himself that I think ultimately could guide this team to a top four showing. My take does get a little worrisome, though, when I hear news today that their star striker, Benjamin Šeško, is set on going to Manchester United and leaving RB Leipzig. I think that could pose to be a problem because he had 22 goals for Leipzig last year in a terrible year. So, yeah, my take now hinges on Šeško and how they replace him ultimately. But I do think we'll see a better version of Leipzig this year than what we saw last, especially when you look at teams like Mainz and Freiburg. When I look at what they do in the transfer window, I think Freiburg just basically hasn't done anything, and Mainz lost their striker, bro, who scored like 15-plus goals.
Yeah, Burkhardt. He's actually with Frankfurt now, which is good, but it's not going to help Frankfurt overall. So then you have Dortmund in as the
Dortmund
final
second.
spot? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Gotta go Dortmund second.
Yeah, they're so solid when it comes to just that offensive style of football that they play. Curious to see how Joe Bellingham does in a full season at the highest level in Germany. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to really be as good numbers-wise, or if he's just going to be a nice, solid midfielder that can relieve pressure for Dortmund in possession. Very curious to see his overall play with this new side. But yeah, Dortmund always have quality players up front. They still have it. They showed it in the Club World Cup where they nearly came back against Madrid. So yeah, I definitely see Dortmund as the second best team going into next season, mainly because Leverkusen are just severely downgraded with the amount of losses that they've hit.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, can Leverkusen actually maintain a top 4 spot, or will we see them really drop down to 6, 7, maybe even 8? Dortmund is the clear second best team in this league. Bayern Munich, congratulations on another title. Where are we going to next?
Let's see. Oh, here it is. Ligue 1.
Another fun one with a very clear winner just to start out right up top. PSG's winning this league, brother.
Yep.
They're winning this thing once again with a team that's being considered one of the best in the world going into the season, a team that just dominated the UEFA Champions League, a team that just went deep into the final of the Club World Cup and then got beat by Chelsea. Shout out to them. But PSG in Ligue 1, domestically, in France, they're going to cook, bro. They're going to cook. And to me, no question, PSG, the winner of this league.
Yeah, if you think any team outside of PSG is going to win in France, please go to the doctor. Please go get yourself checked, because something's not right, bro. PSG's winning this league this upcoming season. They're one of the best teams in the world. There's no doubt about it. And what's crazy, bro, they haven't lost anybody. Like, even the fringe players like Gonzalo Ramos and Lee Kang-in, they're still there.
Yeah.
Just waiting to be released by Luis Enrique. The depth's still there. The starting 11, which is amongst the best in the world, is still intact. Enrique looks happier than ever. So I just see only good things. I see only silverware coming PSG's way when it comes to Ligue 1. The exciting thing is very similar to Germany here is who's going to finish in that second place spot. Can I offer you 2 names? Specifically, I'm going to give you Marseille first, and then I'm going to put Monaco right underneath them.
Exactly my 2 names as well, because we're talking about Ligue 1 only getting 3 Champions League spots. So who gets those 2 remaining spots? It is going to be between Marseille and Monaco. And before we get into them, the only teams that I could even consider or even looked at prior to deciding on those 2 teams, one was Lille, because they finished like in 4th place, I think, last year.
Yeah.
But they lose Jonathan David. They lost a lot of pieces. Angel Gomez, I think they lost him too.
Yeah.
I don't think Lille's going to have a successful year.
And Giroud's not the solution.
Giroud's
not the solution for them.
He's not the guy. And so a team that did strike me with interest, though, was a 7th place finisher, Strasbourg, who is also Chelsea's essentially second club in France where they send so many of their players to.
Yeah.
They acquired Kendry Paes on loan from Chelsea, Mamadou Sarr on loan from Chelsea, Valentin Barco from Brighton, Joaquin Panicelli, and then ultimately they signed 12 players, bro. They've signed 12 players this window. I'm excited to see how the Strasbourg project pans out, given that they finished in 7th place last year, have been super active in the transfer window. Does it get them into the top 5? That's a fun little mini narrative to watch for, because the biggest one is Monaco versus Marseille. I think there's a clear answer, though.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's Marseille.
It's Marseille.
Yeah. The De Zerbi project was ultimately a massive success last season. He's going into his 2nd season with Marseille, and I just think the form that they hit last year, if they can build on that, then the question might become, how long can they keep up with PSG? Maybe it's half the season. Yeah. If they're still in February, I'll be happy. But eventually the gap will be created. They're not going to be able to beat or trump PSG. But, I mean, you look at their offensive talent, and outside of PSG, they have the next best players in France, I think by a decent margin. And, again, you couple that with De Zerbi's tactics, then I think it's clear that Marseille are going to finish in 2nd. But they've also made some really good signings, man.
Great.
It looks like Timothy Weah is going to be joining this team as of today. He's undergoing a medical. That's great extra firepower on the wing. They acquired Angel Gomez from Lille, great dynamic midfielder. But they also got Igor Paixão from the Eredivisie, and he's been fantastic these last 2 seasons specifically, also in Champions League football. So that's a hell of a winger to add to this team, who still have Mason Greenwood, who was their best player last season.
Yeah, and their biggest loss was Luis Enrique getting sold to Juventus. Inter. And Igor Paixão, I think, is the direct replacement for him, which I think is really good. They also got Facundo Medina, who's been putting in hard, serviceable work for RC Lens during their peak years a couple years ago. And they also got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's back with the team. Back with the team. He's, I think, in a great position to be a backup striker to Mason Greenwood. They got Jonathan Rowe. They solidified the deal with Højbjerg as well from Tottenham. I mean, they've just been really, really active. They seem set on really challenging PSG or trying their best. I agree. I don't think it will actually happen for a long period of time, but maybe in the Champions League, they're able to surprise a little bit, be a threatening squad, a fun squad to watch out for with the pieces that they added so far. But these pieces are what I think differentiate them from Monaco at the end of the day, because Monaco did sign exciting players. I just think Marseille just signed more of them.
Yeah.
Monaco getting Ansu Fati and Paul Pogba to join the party, as well with Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer from Bayern Munich coming over to 3 really notable names in the genesis of football. And one being as big as Paul Pogba is insane. His return to form, his return to football will happen in Monaco.
I can't believe it. I don't even know what to think about this Pogba move, man. He hasn't touched the pitch in 2 years.
Crazy.
So what do we do with that information, man? I'm hoping we see a decent Pogba. I'm not even looking for star Pogba. I'm looking for a Pogba that can hold the ball and just provide relief for his teammates when they really need it. Use that class. I'm not looking for him to get a lot of assists. I'm not looking for him to pull the strings offensively. I just want to see a little bit of that touch, that old Pogba touch. That'd be nice to see. But, I mean, there's also just the chance that he's a little very, very rusty.
I'm a little worried. Because when you think about Pogba, peak Pogba was, in my opinion, Juve Pogba, which was like 2015, 2016, 2017. Yeah. You still had great Pogba at the World Cup in 2018. Give him 2019 too if you want. I feel like the 2020s have not been kind to Pogba. Because before he even went on this 2-year-long suspension, I remember like the 2 years before that, he just was not playing the same way.
Yeah.
He just did not have the same highlight reel. He didn't have the same motivation. Things were looking weird. If anything, I was happy he had this suspension to really reflect and just sit back and reset himself footballing wise. So I'm a little worried for what a 33-year-old Pogba can do after having not played competitive football in so long. I know the talent is there. The experience is there. I've always known that it's in him for Paul Pogba himself. But what version of Pogba are we going to see? What story is he going to make for himself? Because the payoff could be incredible, bro. If we get vintage Pogba, who becomes this veteran midfielder, 33 years old, just knows exactly what to do and still has that class on the ball, kind of like how you've seen N'Golo Kante, another Frenchman midfielder, continue to play well at an older age. I would love to see Paul Pogba be able to do the same thing, just in a slightly different position than Kante, but still be able to play with that same level of class. Yeah. The opposite, though, is that we see a Pogba that comes in and out of the lineup, struggles with motivation, struggles with showing up every single game, struggles with consistency.
Maybe he's injury prone.
Gets injured, bro.
Yeah.
He gets injured. He's always gotten injured. And ultimately, people just ended up getting excited about the idea, the concept of Pogba, but not the actual product.
Yeah, the Renaissance is a great marketing. It's a great marketing tool for the return of Pogba. I just hope we actually see it.
Yeah.
But I will be excited to see Monaco for USA reasons, because Balogun's their starting striker. And I'm going to be tuning into every single Monaco game, and as soon as he scores a goal, then job done, I'm turning it off. That's all I'm looking for. I don't care about their form. I don't care about the rest of how Monaco's season goes. I just need Balogun scoring goals, gaining momentum and form going into next year's World Cup for the U.S. men's national team, because right now we don't have a number 9, my friend. And Balogun...
Y'all need a good Balogun season.
We need a good Balogun season.
Yeah, y'all need it bad. And I know Barca fans need a good Ansu Fati season too. Very similar to what I just said about Paul Pogba, could basically be set for Ansu Fati too. In and out type of player, lacking consistency.
Yeah.
At his heights was really promising, really fun, but those heights were 5-6 years ago now, man. And he's still a young player. He still has a lot of A lot of opportunity to bring back that level of class that he showed back in those days, but hasn't been able to tap into it on his loan spell with Brighton, hasn't been able to tap into it in his returns with Barcelona. Here's his chance now with Monaco. Ligue 1, maybe that's the level that Ansu Fati, current day Ansu Fati, needs to be playing at.
That'd be fun, actually. If he could actually figure this out at this level, then, yeah, we could see high-flying Ansu Fati just rip it up in Ligue 1.
I got PSG first, Marseille second, Monaco third.
Yep.
3 European leagues remaining and 1 UEFA Champions League in the mix as well.
Let's see. Yeah. Best league in the world, the Prem.
Here we go, my friend. Here we go. The Prem's going to be exciting this year, man. The Prem is going to be really, really fun with the amount of money we've seen explode in the transfer window this summer. Big teams, everyone's getting involved. Everyone's trying to race towards the Premier League title as well as UEFA Champions League glory. My hot take for the Premier League, and I don't even know if this is that hot, but seeing all the moves that have happened so far, seeing the additions that have been made, the way that these teams are looking in both the Club World Cup and even in preseason matches, I believe that the Final Four from last year, which was Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, will be the exact same this year, just in a different order.
Oh, I like that.
I think the same 4 teams will finish top 4.
I like
That's
that
where
a
we're
lot.
starting. And I'm going to reveal that soon.
I agree, though. I think the best 4 teams in the Prem are those 4 teams.
Which makes teams like Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Tottenham, I would throw them in the conversation for potentially being in the top 5. Man United, maybe.
Maybe, because they've made some pretty good signings.
But after that, I think those are the only teams that could maybe vie for getting into the top 4.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear. The top 4 is a combination of Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea. I'm putting Man City 4th.
Same.
Okay.
I think Man City's the 4th best team out of these guys.
I think so too. I think they dropped down a spot below Chelsea, who I think will ultimately overcome them in the standings, pushing them down to 4th. Manchester City, you can look at what they've done in the summer transfer window as the work they've put in, but also what they did in the January transfer window. I consider part of that same core, because they're really trying to rebuild, honestly, with what they're trying to form for themselves. Reindeers, Ait Nouri, and Turkey, 3 big names this summer, early on as well. It feels like they got them months ago, and you saw them really bring out a new element in this Manchester City side, a new freshness to them that ultimately was exposed by Al Hilal, but still, Manchester City at their best looked really, really good. I just think that these next 3 teams have way less questions to them. I think Manchester City still has a little bit of a weak flaw defensively that the other 3 teams don't. And I think a team like Manchester City will ultimately struggle to get into the top 2 and contend for the title at the end of the day, which is crazy to say about a coach who's won, 6 titles in this league and a team that's dominated the league for the past 10 years. I think for sure Man City will not be lifting the trophy this year and will end in 4th.
Yeah, I think the question for Manchester City is actually on Pep. Tactically, can he change the defensive woes that City have experienced all last year? Dude, last year was the most goals Manchester City have conceded since 2009-2010.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But the thing is, it felt like it.
Yeah.
Dude, every game, it felt like City were conceding 1-2 goals, which is just so unlike them when you consider the run that they've been on the last 10 years. It definitely was notable. And the thing is, it wasn't gone in the Club World Cup because Al Hilal fully exposed the holes that are still there in Manchester City's defensive line. It's not the player personnel, really. Maybe it is a little bit of form. You would rather have prime Ruben Diaz than this current version of him. I get that. But I just think Pep needs to figure out how to best utilize his 11. Because right now, it's pure offense, which makes it very, very fun to watch. But it just leaves holes at the back, which gets fully exploited with the pace of the Premier League.
Yeah, and there's questions of this team that I need to see be answered. Like Phil Foden. I'll excuse what happened last year, but I need him to get back to his prime self.
Mm-hmm.
Bernardo Silva, what can you really get out of him at this point? It feels like he's slowly been dwindling down in terms of his output, peak being the year that they won the UEFA Champions League, but I would like to see a little bit more from Bernardo specifically, especially with what looks like is going to be the sale of Jack Grealish leaving the team. Bernardo Silva, I would love to see step up another gear that I think he has in him. Marmoush, keys to the offense now. I think he has a big role awaiting for him where, in a way, City does need to see him thrive to be able to compete at this high level. Cherki as well. Can he truly transition over to the Premier League and be able to pull the strings for this Manchester City offense? And even just trying his best at emulating the greatness that Kevin De Bruyne was able to bring to this Manchester City squad. Big roles away for these guys. And they get even bigger when you have a guy like Erling Haaland winning in the middle of the box to just be fed. Feed this guy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Send him in balls. Get him the goals, because I do think he's still the best striker in the Prem by far, arguably the best in the world. Feed him, bro, because he didn't have as much service last year, and you saw that in his ultimate goal tally, which was still really crazy, but just didn't compare to his first season when it was a really good version of Manchester City. So I think offensively the roles are very, very important, and if everyone steps up, Manchester City could see themselves become a very dangerous team. I just don't know if they all will, if they'll all click on the same way that we've seen Prime City do.
Yeah, agreed. And it's kind of shocking because we've just gotten so accustomed to City title contending year after year and usually coming out on top. But yeah, now there's like genuine questions going into the season for Manchester City. It's weird to be in this position just as fans of the game.
And I think a team that is the opposite now to the energy around this Manchester City squad is a squad like Chelsea, man, who's very, very exciting coming off of a Club World Cup victory. Chelsea is my pick for third place. Are you in agreement with that? Big moment.
The thing is, this, for me, the way I look at it, I see the top three as all title contenders, truly. I see the Premier League this year as a 3, and we can even add in Manchester City, so a 3 or 4 horse race. And so saying third seems harsh to me because, bro, why can't Chelsea win the Prem this year? Why can't they? And the thing is, when I look at this Chelsea side,
youth,
but I think that's what happened to them last year.
Yeah, that was like 6 months ago, man. It's not that long ago.
Yeah, and that's why I'm dreaming big this year for Chelsea, because when you look at this squad, bro, they can win the Prem. They have the talent. It's there. And I think last year, what Maresca pulled off with this side, I think he's proven that he's a top manager, not just in the Prem, but I think in all of Europe. What happened this summer, I think, could be a blueprint as to how successful Chelsea can actually be. You have arguably the most creative attacking midfielder in the entire league in Cole Palmer. You have Liam Delap added to the squad. You also add UFC fighter disguised as a footballer in Joao Pedro, who's so scrappy in the box. But we saw at the Club World Cup, when we saw with Brighton last year, dude, he's got some crazy technique. Yeah. He's got some crazy technique in front of goal. Chelsea now have that. You still have very direct, talented dribblers in Pedro Neto. Hell, even add in Nkunku. And the midfield, dude, it's just as good, bro. You have Enzo Fernandez, new look Reece James commanding the midfield. You have Romeo Lavia also added to this lineup, still young, box to box. Oh, Lavia's injured? That's okay. You have Moises Caicedo, who can fill in that role, and he's probably one of the best box to box midfielders in the Prem as well. Chelsea have all of that. The only question for me is the center backs, but honestly, they did look pretty good at the Club World Cup, and they had to play a lot of different style of teams. You know, they played defensive style against Palmeiras, for example, but they locked down PSG. And I know it was a one-off game in the Premier League's 38 games. I understand that, but Robert Sanchez seemed to has improved as a goalkeeper as well. I just see every player, the coach himself, all in a rising trend right now for Chelsea. I don't think it's going to end in silverware, but I think they can get really damn close, bro. I think they can get very close.
Yeah, it's going to sound harsh, but I don't have them as contenders. I don't have Chelsea as contenders. I do have them as contenders in any knockout format tournament, because that's what the Club World Cup taught me. Chelsea is designed to thrive in knockout tournaments.
Yeah.
The UEFA Champions League, I think we're going to see a Chelsea team completely vie for the trophy in that setting. But in the Premier League, where every single sector of the pitch matters, I think it's very clear that Chelsea is the third best defense behind Arsenal and Liverpool. I think the gap is pretty clear defensively between those three teams, and that's a big difference maker when it comes to competing for a trophy in general. You highlighted it. The depth is great. The depth is awesome. And I just think it's very similar to what Arsenal and Liverpool have to offer depth-wise as well. And the depth that Liverpool and Arsenal have too is more experience in fighting for a title, is more experience in scoring an important goal when it actually matters. Joao Pedro's been incredible, but we're 30 games into the season. It's a 1-point lead up top. You need a goal to get 3 points. Is that the guy for you? Whereas in Liverpool, you got Mo Salah, you got big names that have done it year in, year out. Even Arsenal has been able to do it to the point where they choked the lead at the very end of a season, but they got way farther than Chelsea has even gotten in these past couple of years. I think factors like that really differentiate a squad like Chelsea between Arsenal and Liverpool in a league format. Those big moments, experience to me matters a lot. Winning mentality matters a lot. And I just think Chelsea is very clearly the third best team in the Prem, with the hopes to really show out in different tournaments like the Champions League, the same way they did in the Conference League last year.
So how far do you think they'll challenge for the title? How long?
That's a good one.
December, just like last year? I guess technically January is like late December.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I think January, yeah.
Same thing.
I think honestly, late January, going into February.
So
Valentine's Day.
They get a month extra.
Valentine's Day. Let's do a holiday. Valentine's Day, we check back, and if they're still considered to be in title race, I would be surprised.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they're dominating the Champions League in the meantime.
Yeah. That's what
That's where I'm at with Chelsea. I love this Chelsea thing. That's what I hate about this take. I love them. But I think the Prem is the toughest league in the world right now. Yeah. And you need heavyweight fighters. You need players, people that know how to handle the ring, man.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool is honestly the only team that knows that at this moment.
Oh, agreed. Just watch out for Chelsea this year.
Okay.
That's it.
I would love to be wrong. They're
not winning the league, but I truly think this team can contend for the title. I think everything that they went through last year was necessary, and they're going to use that to add to the experience. You talk about they don't have experience, but I think they're currently building it. But yeah, Chelsea third place does make sense. I just think they're gonna make it difficult for the top two.
I think you're ahead on the timeline. I think this is the year where they maybe finish second. Next year is when they actually contend. Then that's when you'll have all the experience you need, man. It'll be way sooner into the timeline. Maresca's third year. That's when you usually are able to do these things, man. I agree. They're building.
Interesting.
But you're eager.
Liverpool proved you wrong about that last year. Liverpool were ahead of schedule.
I guess, but there are players that have already won the Premier League. Virgil van Dijk's already won the Premier League. Alisson's already won it, man.
Very true.
That's a different type of timeline, in my opinion. But I get both point of views. I got Chelsea in third, meaning in second place, I still do have Arsenal. I still got Arsenal. I think they completed their squad with Victor Gyökeres. If he pans out the way that Arsenal fans claim he will pan out, if he lives up to the potential, it's a complete team, bro. It's the piece that they've been missing this entire time.
Yep.
And it should secure them second place with the chance to challenge Liverpool for the title. That's a team I see challenging.
Yeah, same. I mean, if you look at Arsenal these last 3 seasons specifically, they've challenged for it every single year. And they did it without a striker. There was that one season where Gabriel Jesus went off in the first half of the season, but then he was out for like 4 months, and that really hurt them. Since that season, they haven't had a true 9. And now they do. With Victor Gyökeres, I think he's going to solve the problem of the 1-1s, where they just need a goal and their opponent's bunkering in and they just can't get it. They've dropped so many points because of those exact situations. I think that problem is now solved with Victor Gyökeres, meaning Arsenal are right there. I see them as genuine, true title contenders so far, as in I think Arsenal can actually lift it this year. I really think that they've filled in the position that they've needed. They get a good striker. But not only that, they've really have bolstered the midfield with Zubimendi and Nørgaard. I think those are excellent signings. They still have, as you already highlighted, probably the second best defense in the league right behind Liverpool. I don't think that's going to change. If anything, they've added depth by getting Valencia defender, Colombian Christian Mosquera. Very good center back as well, just to add in if either Saliba or Gabriel get injured. So that's fantastic for Arsenal. I have them as genuine title contenders. But when I look at Liverpool, man, I can't convince myself that its team can beat them. I can't. But I think Arsenal will get damn close. I think Arsenal will get very close this year.
I think the only thing stopping Arsenal this year is mentality. I'm just curious to see if they shrivel up in those big moments when they face off against Liverpool in both those games in the Prem. Can they take it to Liverpool? Because I feel like it's been a while since we've actually seen Arsenal be able to do that. I need Arsenal to really use the lows that they've reached these past few years, going trophyless, all the criticisms, everything that's negative that's come their way. I need them to use that as fuel to finally overcome their demons and be able to win the trophy, because I don't think they need anything else at this point. Like additions-wise, players-wise, I think it's there. I agree. They should be able to contend and compete for the title. The only difference between them and Liverpool is mentality. And so, can they overcome it? It's been a no for the past 5 years. Will this be the year that it's finally a yes, bro?
Yeah.
It's my only question with Arsenal.
And I wonder if these new signings is going to add any pressure to the current team that's there right now, any pressure to Mikel Arteta, because at this point, I think their team is complete. They even added Madueke to the lineup to add to that winger depth if Saka or Martinelli aren't cutting it. So is there pressure for Arsenal to win it, or is this going to be another season where they just play beautiful football and at a certain point they're just like, we're not as good as Liverpool?
If they don't win it this year, do you say bye to the Arteta project? Is it over?
I actually would say no. I would give him one extra other season. Like, truly. I would say, honestly, the way I see it for Arsenal this year, I don't see that much pressure going into it, because I think the consistency that they've garnered over these last 3 seasons, that's really impressive. And so we know that this team is second place quality. They just got to rinse and repeat that. And the only difference, like you said, is the mentality of, can they actually take it to Liverpool? Can they actually get the goals that they need when push comes to shove? That has never been answered when it comes to Arsenal. This is the season to do it. But, I mean, outside of that, dude, I would actually see this Arsenal side as very confident in who they are, very confident in their manager and Arteta, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard. They know that they're one of the best midfield combos in the whole league. Why should that change going into the season, you know? So I think Arsenal should be very, very confident going into the season against Liverpool. But you just look at Liverpool, man, and my God.
Well, I'm still on that topic, because I agree. If you lose the Prem, winning the Prem's tough. And I'm not going to put that on Arteta, but he has to win something else. Okay, you can't do another year of 0 trophies, bro. I can't remember a deep Carabao Cup run. The last trophy he ever won was an FA Cup in his first year, and that was it.
Yeah.
You got to win an FA Cup.
Yeah.
When Newcastle and Crystal Palace are winning those tournaments, at the very least do that.
Yeah.
Or win a Champions League and add 5 years to your resume. You know, at that point you're good to go. But nothing is bad in my opinion.
I'm cool with it, because a Champions League semifinal, that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me in my book. If he gets there like he did, then I'm just like, damn, good season. Was not expecting that. If he can repeat that, make another deep run in the Champions League, even if he loses the Prem, again, that's why I'd say it's another successful season.
Deep run, I would take another deep run.
Yeah, man.
I would take a deep run, but that's not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed, but I would be confident. I'm confident about this Arsenal size quality now. I'm so confident in how they play. It's tough to play against Arsenal.
It is, but there's always been a clear ceiling. There's always been a clear gap at the very end between them and the elite squads. And I wonder if a coach is a difference-making factor in that. I wonder. Because why did they look so powerless in that PSG matchup at the end of the day?
Right.
I feel like they really mailed it in that game. That second leg especially.
Yeah.
What was that? Is that more team factor, or is that coach related? I think eventually it has to be coach. When you look at the biggest tournaments, he hasn't won any of them.
I can't criticize until after this season, seeing that he has a 9 for the entire time.
And that's why I think there's pressure. Because now there aren't any excuses anymore.
No excuses.
Now you have to win.
But I feel good. I feel real good about everybody else. I think the rest of the team around Gyökeres is as good as it could possibly get for Arsenal, and that makes me happy if I was an Arsenal fan. But obviously, as a neutral, I'm just like, damn, the team that they've built, it's impressive.
You feel good enough to say that they'll win either a Prem or UCL? You feel that good? Could you give me a yes to that one? Arsenal ends the season with either a Prem or UCL.
They can win the Prem. They can win it. Will they? I don't. I'm going to say no, but they can win it. They can do it.
And they can win the UCL. They can win the UCL.
I don't know if this team has the experience to win the UCL.
Okay, then.
I don't think they have the experience to win the UCL, but the fact that they've gotten so close in the Prem, I think they're just more comfortable with it, to be completely honest.
Maybe.
And again, the fact that they have a complete squad now, I just feel very confident that they can win it, but I just don't think they will.
I don't think they will. Liverpool, I think with guys like Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong, Mamadashvili, Arne Slot, Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, Alexis McAllister, Dominique Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson, Konate,
Kerkez again. Let's say his name again.
Let me do Kerkez again. It's too loaded. It's too loaded. It's too good to the point where my only fear with this Liverpool team is them going through a similar thing that Real Madrid went through last year, where the team and the names are too good. There's ego, there's a lack of chemistry, and an inability to ultimately solve those chemistry issues. That's the only thing I could see getting in the way of this Liverpool team. The difference is I don't see as much ego with the Liverpool squad. I see a system in place.
Yeah.
I see a clear hierarchy. Mo Salah is the leader. He's the guy up top. You listen to him when you're talking about offense. In the midfield, generals and McAllister and Gravenberch, that won't change. And energy, a tone setter, and Dominique Szoboszlai, box to box. And then fresh, young talent in the fullback position with Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez, with leaders in that backline, some of the best the game has ever seen, and Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. I don't think Liverpool will undergo the same issues that Real Madrid went through last year. So I have Liverpool winning the trophy once again, defending champions, and honestly, their biggest enemy, their biggest potential flaw, just being themselves.
Yeah, no. It's hard for me to see any other team win it, to be honest. And I think we're going to have a great title race. Like, I think the Premier League is going to be so fun this year. But to win it, I just only see Liverpool. It's hard for me to see it any other way. And it's down to the exact reasons that you just listed. The system that's in place. And they had that going at almost full level in September of last year. It was so early on where I was like, damn, Liverpool look like they've had slot for 4 straight years.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with how tactically cohesive everything was with Liverpool. And it became clear going into December that they were the best team already in the Premier League. And it was going to take something truly special from Chelsea and Arsenal at the time to really dethrone Liverpool. And it didn't happen. The gap just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. The season was effectively done by March, early March for Liverpool. I could see the exact same thing happening this year just due to the absolute depth that they have. It is world class in every single position, but it's just the tactics, man. The way that they play, it's so aggressive off the ball. The roles that Gravenberch plays in that defensive mid alongside the experience of Van Dijk and Alisson behind him. I think they have one of the best central defensive cores in the league. And then offensively, man, I mean, Mohamed Salah, ridiculous numbers last year. Who's to say he can't get even remotely close this year? He probably will. And then you add in just these wild cards of Florian Wirtz, what he can add. We know he's a top player. It's just up to Slot to figure out how to best get the potential out of him, but you put him on the pitch, something's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, this preseason, Ngumoa is going off. He's 16, 17 years old, going off, and there's signs that he's going to be an insanely good player.
We still have Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, there you go. Like, there's just so much great talent, man, truly, in this Liverpool side. So I think to beat them, it's going to take near perfection. And Liverpool, for me, it's just the best team in the Prem.
That's how I see it. I'm trying to run the versions where they end up losing the title, and I think it's just the things that I mentioned, getting too cocky or maybe injuries. But on paper, I think they should be the outright winners for the Prem, which is crazy because the Prem is crazy competitive and the talent in that league is insane. But I do think they're the favorites, and I have them winning it. That's the Prem right there, baby.
That's the Prem.
And that's just the top 4. There's obviously so much to talk about in regards to the teams challenging the top 4 and then also the relegation battle.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
I'll be really excited specifically for Nottingham next year. I want to see if they can really build on what they had last year. They've kept a lot of their important players, man, and they've added Igor Jesus from Botafogo, and they also added Dan Ndoye, right? Dan Ndoye from Bologna in Italy. Love those moves. Yes, you lose Elanga, but I think they've done well to try and cover those holes.
Here we go. 2 leagues remaining, Serie A and La Liga, and then we're going to leave UCL for the very end. Where are we going? Italy or Spain?
Let's see. La Liga.
La Liga it is. La Liga. 4th place has to be Athletic. I tried convincing myself Villarreal. I tried Real Betis.
Matias Almeida, Sevilla.
Dude, that was cool. That was really cool. I tried, man. I really did try looking at Villarreal and Betis. I think those were the only 2 that I really considered being able to get into the top 4. But, I mean, I just don't see it. I think both those teams have lost pieces while also adding pieces that I think keeps them the same level.
Yeah.
And Athletic, at the end of the day, made it pretty close between them and Atletico Madrid in 3rd place. They keep Nico Williams. Few moves here and there. I got Athletic in 4th.
Yeah, I love it.
That might not matter though. This might not matter for anything. Just letting you. Just Champions League spot. They're getting 4th. We can move on.
I'm gonna put Villarreal just to put them in there. I think they'll have a slightly better season. It might be by a point.
Yeah. I mean, they still have what's his name? Moreno up top. Not Alberto Moreno.
Gerard.
Gerard Moreno.
They still have Nicolas Pepe. Maybe maybe he's getting used to Spain. He can add some goals to the tally. But they also got Moleiro. He's a fun attacking midfielder from Las Palmas. They do lose Baena. I think that's a big miss, which basically keeps their offense damn near the same. They lose Barry to Everton.
Barry, that's the one. Yeah.
But they have a Cameroonian player. Ayong, I believe it's something like that. 21 years old. Maybe he can, maybe get 10 goals this season, something like that. So I'm going 4th place Villarreal.
You run me through your top 3.
Yeah. So here's the thing. When I think of the top 3 in La Liga, I just start asking myself questions. If I had Diego Simeone right now in front of me, I'd be asking him, so how are you going to line this team up? Because half your starting 11's completely new. Brand new team Atletico have, bro. I'm serious. You look at it, 5 of the 11 players are potentially just completely different.
Starters?
Yeah. Starters. Ruggeri at left back. You're probably going to want to start Alex Baena on the left side. You start Almada, I would say, underneath Julian Alvarez. You're starting Cardoso as the Rodrigo de Paul replacement. And personally, I would play Hanko alongside Lenormand in the center back position.
Musso over Oblak? Hey, shout out Musso. Yeah, Musso.
Fuck it. Throw him in.
No.
So that's half the starting lineup is completely new. So my question to Simeone is, okay, that's fine. But how are we going to play? Because, dude, all of those players that I just listed are offensive. And when you look at... Well, yeah, outside of Henko. But even if you look at Cardoso, well, he's not offensive necessarily, but he's not the defensive battering ram that Rodrigo de Paul was. Cardoso's best utilized in technical midfield positions. So when I look at Simeone and the way that he's been playing these last 3 years specifically, he has to change this identity of Atletico Madrid completely. And I just don't know if that's going to lead to silverware in such a short time period. I think he's going to need time to really figure out the best position for every single player. And ultimately, I think it's just going to end up being a 3rd place finish for Atletico.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's a lot to ask out of a team, especially when you're facing off against a hot, steaming Barcelona side that is ready to kill off the start this year, by the way. I feel like last year, going into it, they kind of built into the form that they were able to reach at the end of the season. Now we know what this Barca team is. We know what they're capable of. The youth that they have, they're only getting better. That's who you have to face off against early on in the season. That's the threat they're trying to beat to get first place. And if you want to get second, you're going against the Real Madrid team who probably just had one of the worst seasons ever and won't be repeating that. So for Atletico, they got to be super confident right off the bat. The chemistry has to be there. I just don't think this year will be that year for them, but the potential is there to have that type of season a year or two from now in La Liga specifically.
Exactly. That's how I'm looking at this season. It's just pure experimentation. I need to see Simeone go back to his 2014, 2016 days where he's a little bit more loose, a little bit more creative with his lineups, and just promotes a more progressive style of football. Because now we don't have the excuses anymore. My excuse for the last 3 seasons is outside of Griezmann and then last year Julian Alvarez, we don't have the guys.
Yeah.
Now we don't have that excuse. We have Ruggeri as an offensive fullback now. We have Baena as one of the best attacking wingers in Spain. We have him now. We have Almada, who's pure creativity. He doesn't do anything else other than create offensively. So you add in all those players alongside now Julian Alvarez. We have to play a different style of football. We cannot play the same way that we've been playing basically the entire 2020s. So that's why I just think it's a massive question for Diego Simeone. I'm just hoping that we just have fun this year, end third place, get that Champions League spot, but more so build for the coming years.
And I'm very interested to see what Atletico does in the Champions League. I'm always interested to see what they do in the Champions League because they can always be really fun. And maybe they figure out their form by then.
That'd be fun.
Will Real Madrid get first place over Barcelona this year?
I just don't see it. I don't see it because I think Xabi Alonso doesn't have as big of questions that Diego Simeone has to answer. But I'm wondering, how do you get Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, all on the same pitch, playing their best football? How do you do that? Carlo Ancelotti couldn't answer it the entire season, and it was a problem in September of last year. So Xabi Alonso has to figure that out. We saw signs of change, I would say, in the Club World Cup, but I think something like this is just going to take time ultimately. And there are some things that are out of Alonso's control, for example, like Vinicius' form, just in general. And also Rodrigo, man, he went ghost the entire second half of last season. What do you do with that when the form of your best wingers just isn't quite there? We saw him try to utilize those fringe players that got no playing time last year in the Club World Cup, specifically Arda Güler. I like that because I think that's where Madrid can have a lot of success. Give Rodrigo a little bit of competition. Maybe that will, poke him to get the best out of him, or maybe Güler goes off. You don't know. We also saw Gonzalo Garcia have a really effective summer. Maybe he can add more goals this year for Real Madrid. But I just think those questions make me nervous for Real Madrid. But also, you just look at the midfield. If you're asking Tchouaméni or if you're asking Valverde to play like Toni Kroos, it's just not going to happen. A big problem for Madrid last year was their midfield. They just couldn't move the ball around. There was no creativity there. You look at the signings that they've made, none of it was in the midfield. So I just think Xabi Alonso has a lot of work to do, but he is the guy to do it. And which is why I think Madrid will still have a successful year, contend for the title, but I don't think they'll be able to beat Barcelona.
If they want to win the title, the first thing they need, the most important thing they need is Vinny Jr. back.
Yeah.
They need Ballon d'Or contender Vinny Jr. back. They need 2022, 2023 Vinny Jr. What has been happening over the last 12 months has been very, very concerning with both club and country and in tournaments as well, because Vinny has not been convincing whatsoever. He looks very questionable on the ball. I don't know what's going on. I'm sure Madrid fans have more insight into that, but they need peak Vinny first and foremost. Secondly, like the tactical awareness of Xabi Alonso, the way he implements these players, how he utilizes Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think will be really important to creating a new type of offense for this Real Madrid team. Because as a Liverpool fan, if you use Trent Alexander correctly, you can get an amazing weapon just right off the bat. And then third, I would say injuries. Even at the Club World Cup, they had like 7 key injuries. I need to see a healthy, fresh Real Madrid team to start the season at the very least, and hope that injuries go their way as the season progresses, because it's felt like for the past 2 years whenever they get an injury, like in the back line or in the midfield, it kind of fucks with the team a lot. Even though they have depth, it's this weird lack of like a role replacement. Like the players that they have don't 100% fulfill the absence of the player that got injured. And so it leaves them just relying on individuality. It leaves them relying on just these major moments that players have for themselves on big stages. And it works sometimes because it's Real Madrid, but over the course of an entire season, especially in La Liga, they're going to need way more than that. Those are the three things I see as having to go Real Madrid's way for them to be able to top Barcelona. And I just think it's too much to ask out of a team that's still in the midst of trying to figure out their best form. And when the team that you're competing for against the title has already answered all the questions for them, it's tough to really be able to top that, bro. And that's why I have Real Madrid in second place. Barca in first because of just the state that they're in. There is a high that these Barca fans are feeling right now, coming off of a very impressive Champions League campaign, coming so close to the final, and just the individual play from Rafinha, Leva, Lamine Yamal, midfield, Pedri, defense, the whole team. Hansi Flick's first year has been very, very promising, and I think definitely secures them with the La Liga title this year.
Yeah, 100%. I only see this team getting stronger, and they already pretty much dominated La Liga last year, outside of a weird 2-month period from like November to January where their defense came into question. But I think they ended the season a lot more confident on how to actually approach Hansi Flick's tactics, at least as a squad. And so going into this season, dude, I don't think I've seen Barcelona this confident in like 10 years. And so you can't beat that because when you look at the squad, it makes sense. My questions for Barcelona isn't, are they going to be able to handle their opponents in La Liga? It's how many goals is Lamine Yamal going to get? How many assists is this boy going to get, man? Because he's going to be even more prominent. He's just going to improve, get better and better and better. My question for Rafinha is, dude, if he can get even close to what he did last year, then my God, we have another Ballon d'Or type year for Rafinha. It's going to be amazing to see. Gavi's back in the midfield. Pedri already established himself last year as one of the most creative, effective midfielders in the game. Barcelona have all of that at their disposal, and they have a lot of momentum behind it too. So I think this year for La Liga is going to be Barcelona's all day long.
And it's the first year where I think Lamine Yamal goes into it as the best player in the world.
I like that.
He wasn't that last year. This year I feel like it's very clear he is the best player in the world. What I saw in the Champions League was super, super impressive. I think the numbers are going to show it this year. I think they're going to show it. My only worry with Barcelona, curiosity rather, is Hansi going to play the same way?
I think so.
He's going to double down on it.
I think he's doubling down on it, and I think it's a good thing because the players, I think, are they've had a full year under the belt.
And it works in La Liga. We saw last year. In La Liga, it ultimately works. You get the title. I think now we know what to expect then with Barcelona, and I'm curious to see how teams adapt to that. Now that they've dealt with Barcelona for an entire year, do we see them struggle a little bit more than what we saw last year with teams preparing better for that, or Hansi Flick tactically getting caught out? It's my only worry or concern for what could cause them to get second place, but I think at the end of the day, Barca is set to win the title here. Marcus Rashford will lift a La Liga title, and they're going to be champions of Spain. All right, last league before we do Champions League. Let's do
due diligence here. Oh shit!
Wrong one. Do this one.
For due diligence here, Serie A. The most competitive league in Europe.
You think so?
How does that make you feel?
Isn't it more competitive than Prem? It might be.
This is where it gets weird because I actually would entertain an argument that it is.
I think Serie A is still more competitive.
I think it is more competitive, but obviously the ceiling is lower than the Prem.
Absolutely.
And that goes for every single team. Every single, like a mid-table Serie A team, lower ceiling.
Where would Napoli finish in the Prem? 6?
Okay, I would
5th?
say...
I'd give them max 5th.
I'd say 5th if they're lucky.
Yeah.
I'd probably say 6, maybe even 7.
Serie A gets 4 Champions League direct spots. A league with teams like Fiorentina, AC Milan, Lazio, Como, Roma, Juventus, Napoli, Inter Milan, Atalanta. This is why I do think it is the most competitive. All these teams right now in the current state that they're in are pretty close in level, bro.
Dude, yes.
Pretty close. So if you're looking for a league where every single week the 3 points that a team gets matters a lot, getting a draw matters, losing matters a lot, this is where you do it because I think the top 10 could be very, very close and very, very and very, very competitive.
No, straight up, bro. Last year, Atalanta, Juventus, Roma, Fiorentina, Lazio, AC Milan, Bologna were all within 10 to 12 points of each other.
Jesus.
7 straight teams. Yeah.
Wow.
They're all so similar. And then this year, you could maybe even add in Como to this mix. And so I think just based off of that alone, you can say that mid to upper mid tables super competitive.
You got a hot take regarding Serie A?
As far as winners?
As far as winners, as far as placement in the standings, maybe second place, third place, fourth place. Maybe the hot take starts with the letter C, ends with the letter O.
Como ain't finishing the top 4, bro.
All right,
I'm not finishing in the top 4.
I don't have them there either. I was just wondering, maybe you had that. I have Roma in fourth.
Okay.
I'm going to go Roma in fourth. I believe they finished last year in fifth place. They get Wesley Franca. They get Neil Ainawi. But most importantly, they got Evan Ferguson.
Yeah.
Evan Ferguson from Brighton. Kid that I've liked for a while, but had a disappointing season last year. He had a great season for Brighton 2 years ago, scoring like 10 goals, 7 assists, I think is what I saw in the Prem. Really young, from Ireland, I believe. Gets a chance here to revitalize his career, to just add momentum to it with a Roma team that needs a striker up top, a Roma team that needs offense. I think if they were in fifth place last year and they ultimately didn't lose that many pieces, I think they can get fourth now with Evan Ferguson having a good year.
I like that. I like Roma in fourth. Also consider that Gasperini's the coach. Leaving Atalanta, and after 9-10 years at the helm for that club, and just boom, just like that, he's in Rome.
Wow.
In the capital of Italy, trying to change the fortunes of Roma. I like it. They haven't really lost anybody. My only problem with Roma, and it's pretty much the problem with all teams that are right around them, they just don't have any stars. And if they did, I would even entertain them as having a higher finish. But I think just due to that simple fact, and this plagues a lot of Italian teams, like Lazio, for example, Bologna, all these teams around them, there's just no stars for Roma. If they had a star, bro, there's no star in Rome, bro. So it's frustrating from that perspective because, dude, imagine if Roma had just 2 big hitters, bro. Then I think they could actually do something.
Yeah.
But I think this team is limited from a squad perspective. So yeah, I like it though. Fourth place, especially when you consider that Atalanta have lost their best, their head coach. They've lost Ruggeri. They lost their 25-goal man in Matteo Retegui. And Lookman wants out.
Yeah.
He cleared out his locker without even making a move yet. He's done, bro. He's done with this team.
And Cuomo isn't getting in the top 4. Fiorentina, I think, is happy being a number 6 place team. I don't have AC Milan in the top 4.
I have them doing better this year, but also not top 4 though.
Don't have a top 4, and then Lazio, I don't have in the top 4 either.
I don't have Lazio.
So that it has to be Roma. That's how I'm seeing it. Third, second, and first could be anything though. I'm curious to know where are you going with third place here.
I'm actually gonna go Juventus here.
Same.
I'm going Juventus, not because I like them, not because I think they play great football, but just because this is what they do. They love finishing right in this spot. They had something like 30 draws last year. At least that's what it felt like, bro. They can easily repeat that. For Juventus, it's kind of the same problem with Roma. They just don't have any true stars. They have good players, right? Colomani's trying. Nico Gonzalez is trying. Vlahovic is trying. They're all good players. Conceição's added into the mix. He's decent. But they just don't have, especially when you compare it to Napoli, hell, even Inter Milan, they don't have the player personnel to contend for the title. You pit them up against teams that are below them, I can be confident that Juventus won't lose the match. They might not win it, but you got to win games on a consistent basis to win Serie A, to lift the Scudetto. I don't think Juventus can do that. So I think they're a solid team, third place finish.
To win, no. I am optimistic about Juventus, though. I am, especially about Jonathan David. I think I'm buying in. I'm buying into the David concept, the David idea. I'm saying 20 goals plus in Serie A.
Be fire.
20 goals plus for my boy Jonathan David. That 2-0. You got Nico Gonzalez as well. Conceição, they acquired Fully. I don't know. I think given that they were able to finish top 4 last year for as bad of a season it was, top 3 doesn't seem that out of question. I do have them in third, though, as the outright third place finisher. They will not get into the top 2. But I'm just optimistic that the energy will be a little bit more positive around Juventus this year than it was last year. Yeah. I think Jonathan David will be a big part of that.
Do you have them being title contenders, or is it just going to be they're there, top table?
Nah, I can't do title contender.
I can't either.
I can't. That's between 2 teams, Inter Milan and Napoli.
Yeah. R.I.P. Atalanta.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Because
they got close.
They got close, man. Genuinely, last year, I was so excited for them, building off that Europa League win, going into the season, everything looked good. And, dude, for like 70% of last year, it looked very possible that Atalanta would pull off the impossible. Things fell apart at the end. I don't even blame them. It's very, very tough to win. They made it as far as they could have, in my opinion. But then the fact that we don't even have them finishing the top 4 a year later.
Damn.
Yeah, man, it sucks.
Yeah, a lot went wrong for them in the transfer window, and it just seems like that peak that they reached is finally in its downfall. The question here is, does Napoli defend their title? Are they able to defend their title that they were able to closely win last year in a really tight title race?
Right.
Inter Milan ultimately lost it. Napoli snags it. They steal it, and they win themselves another title while also having a very exciting off-season window with acquisition. Kevin De Bruyne, welcome to Napoli, my friend. Yeah. 34 years old from Manchester City, will be joining this beautiful, beautiful country, this beautiful, beautiful team. Noah Lang gets acquired too, an exciting winger. Sam Bukema, Napoli making some very interesting moves, while Inter Milan acquires Luis Enrique from Marseille, Boni, Petra Sucic in the midfield. Those are really the names that stood out for me. They made a few additions here or there, but I got to say, I'm a little bit more excited about the Napoli additions, in my opinion, and what they'll be able to do. And so I think the title race is close. I think it's going to come down to both teams. I could see Inter Milan utilizing their world-class talent that they do have, and Lautaro Martinez and Thuram just being absolute snipers up top, Barella in the midfield.
Yeah.
I could see Inter Milan just locking in, focusing, and saying, you know what? We were so close last year. Let's go out and win it this time around. Or I could also see Napoli building upon what they've done so far, getting better pieces and not losing much talent in the process either, and winning a trophy back-to-back times.
Yeah, I'm going Napoli to actually defend their title simply because of the key factors. Antonio Conte is a serial Serie A winner. The fact that he did it with Napoli in his first year last year, I think is very telling. And you already listed it. They've improved the squad, and I actually wasn't expecting that from Napoli. And they've improved it in pretty much every single line on the pitch. Great offseason for Napoli. And you look at the midfield specifically, man, now you have Anguissa, McTominay dominating in that double pivot. But now you have a really interesting creative third with De Bruyne added to the mix. And if De Bruyne needs some rest, you still got Billy Gilmour, who can just become more prominent as an attacking midfielder in Serie A. So I just get very excited when I think of Napoli's prospects. Only thing is, how does Conte handle Champions League now? Right, he's always been a little weird when he has to do both. Mm-hmm. I think that actually might help out Inter Milan, because Inter Milan at this point are pros of handling both Serie A and Champions League at the same time. I'm still going to go Napoli simply because they just had a much better transfer offseason.
My only thing with Napoli is that they seem to win their titles when people don't expect it. I didn't think they were going to win last year.
True.
I really didn't. Or the couple years back when they won it for the first time in like 20 plus years, I did not expect them to win the title that year. This is the first year in a while where it feels like going into it, people are like, Napoli is going to lift it. They're the favorites. And I just don't know if that's how it works in Italy.
Yeah.
I don't, man. And I just feel like for the Italian narrative, if you just simulate the whole season, just wouldn't surprise me at all if Inter Milan is the one lifting the trophy. Just as a way to respond. Italians are very prideful. Losing a title the way they did to Napoli last year must have hurt. I see Inter Milan getting back to form and winning the trophy. Kind of with those things that you pointed out, the experience at managing 2 different tournaments, but also the quality of players. It has to give, and I think it has to result in Inter Milan winning the trophy. I think it'll be very, very close, very, very tight, but I'm going to go Inter Milan on this one.
I have it just as close as last year. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Inter Milan do win it Their team hasn't changed at all. Coaches changed. Kivu comes in, but I mean, realistically, he doesn't have to change much, man. The 11's already made of itself. You can add in Luis Enrique to maybe add a little bit more creativity in that midfield. That's a good thing. But you still have Thuram and Lautaro Martinez, the two best forwards in Serie A, at your disposal. So it's just like, yeah, Inter Milan are going to be really, really good next year. My only question with them is, I wonder if fatigue's going to set in a little bit, because they've been going hard for 3 straight years. And I wonder if the Champions League has anything to do with maybe deflating them a little bit. Like, what if that PSG 5-0 really, really, really stung, you know?
Could.
And I wonder if that's going to affect them at all. But the squad's the same. It's elite. I think it'll be a 2-horse race between Inter Milan and Napoli.
You mentioned the Champions League. Let's go to Champions League, man.
Let's go to UCL,
Let's talk
baby.
Contenders, man. Let's talk fucking contenders. Because when I think about the UCL, I think it's going to be a fun year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really, really fun year. And I gave myself the homework of listing out all the contenders.
I like that.
I think I got 8.
Okay.
I think I have 8 contenders right now.
All right,
and it could be more after this conversation. You want me to list them out? Or do you know yours? How many are you listing out? Folks at home, list out your contenders. How many do you have? UCL contenders that could truly lift a trophy. How many teams do you have potentially being able to do that?
Damn, okay. Actually, now that I really think about it, yeah. Maybe even 10.
Okay, let's go through some of these in no specific order. Chelsea.
100%. Have to.
Barca.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe even favorites.
Liverpool.
Definite favorites.
Yeah, you have to. PSG.
Favorites.
Bayern.
Yeah. I'm excited about Bayern this year.
We're at 5.
I'm excited about Bayern this year.
Hey, this is where it could get interesting. You can say yes or no. Arsenal.
I would say contenders.
I would say contenders. City.
Yeah, I'm putting them as contenders.
I'm putting them as contenders too. Madrid. Real. I also feel the same way, bro, because we see what happens to them against major teams for the past year and a half.
They're not winning it, bro.
But it's Madrid, man.
They're not winning
No,
it.
but it's Madrid, bro.
They're not winning it.
And things are changing this year.
They're not winning it. I think
contenders,
there's
though.
a higher chance Arsenal City win it, lift it.
Contenders.
They're not contending for it, bro.
Okay. We're at 7.
But they're good.
We're at 7. Fine. We don't have to do that. Any other team that I'm missing?
Because I would put Atletico in the same category as Real. So what do we do with that?
I put Real a little bit higher.
I'd put them a little higher.
Beat them last year.
But I'd still put them in that tier.
Sure. So then, yeah, those aren't contenders.
Okay.
Atleti's not a contender.
If you give me go Real, give me Atleti.
All right, then I'd rather not give it to you. What about
Let's go to Italy. I think Napoli could actually be contenders. I really do.
They're in the Real Madrid tier for me.
And I also would understand.
They're in the Real Madrid tier.
I think that's fair.
Inter. I guess, yeah.
Yes. But the reason why I put Inter over Napoli is because Inter's experience always shows. Yeah. Always.
So that's 8 right there. Dortmund, I'm out on.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah.
Monaco, no. France, we're good. I would say the remaining Prem teams, like, Tottenham's in it.
Tottenham's.
Nah, they're not content. They're not content. They
can be fun, but they can't contend.
Newcastle can't contend.
No, they'll be fun though. But they can't contend.
And then is that it for Prem?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So then I think that's 8. I think that's 8 contenders.
Okay.
With Real Madrid.
Yeah, as like you could add them as a bonus 9-10.
9-10.
If we wanted to do a top 10, let's add Real and Atleti.
Okay, so
or maybe Napoli.
So then, yeah, the point is made. The contenders are crazy for the UEFA Champions League. To just simplify it, give me your top 3.
Yeah, top 3 right now. Liverpool as top.
No order? Oh, okay.
Liverpool is my go-to favorite right now. I think they're the best team going into the season. I think they got unlucky last year by drawing PSG, and I think they're on a little bit of a revenge UEFA tour this upcoming season. I think that's going to play a big factor. The other two, I'm going Barcelona in number 2. And
over PSG?
Right behind them. Maybe even on the same level, I'm putting PSG.
Damn. I like that. Number 1, I got Liverpool. Most complete team in world football, in my opinion, going into this next season.
Yep.
Number 2, outright, I have PSG. Now they have the experience. They are also equally as complete as Liverpool. Think they can do it. I have 3 teams tied for 3rd.
Okay, Barca. Oh, you'll add in Chelsea.
I'm adding Chelsea.
I like that Chelsea pick.
Bayern.
Yeah. I mean,
I think they're in a similar tier.
You're putting Chelsea, you got to put Bayern.
Yeah. And Barca, I think, might be a slight step above both those teams, but I need to see it. But those are the ones that I see just outright they could win it. Those 5 teams at the end of the day. But I think the top 2 for me is clear, Liverpool and PSG. But it should be Liverpool's. I'll just keep it simple. I think it should be Liverpool's based off of where we're at right now in this moment, August 4th or 5th, whatever day it is. It should be Liverpool's based off what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I said it when we talked about the Premier League. I think it will take perfection to beat Liverpool. It's what PSG had to do to beat them, by the way, in the round of 16. It was perfection. And that perfection still took them only to penalties, by the way. Mm-hmm. So you have to play the best game of your life over 2 legs to beat Liverpool. And yeah, I mean, I think only one other team can do that right now. That might be PSG or Barcelona. That's it, man.
Yeah.
So for me, Liverpool are the favorites. I have them lifting the UEFA Champions League 2025-2026. And yeah, I think it's clear. The margin isn't huge, but for me, it's clear that Liverpool are the best team.
For PSG to do it again, though, would be incredible. And they can.
They can.
They absolutely can. Nothing has changed at the end of the day. And don't get carried away with that Club World Cup final. They dominated Champions League, in my opinion. They were clear the best team in the tournament, and they deserved it. They can do it again. I got to go Liverpool, though. I agree with you. I got to go Liverpool on this one. The draw is on August 28th, I believe.
Hell yeah.
Matchups that I want to see just at any point in this tournament, I want to see Barca PSG, the one that we didn't get. I want to see Liverpool Barca. I want to see Chelsea PSG. Give me a rematch of the Club World Cup in the UCL. And then give me like an Arsenal Bayern Munich. That'd be really fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be specifically looking at I think dark horses. If we went dark horse,
okay,
I'm going Chelsea Bayern Munich. Like off the bat because I just think they've both have really been building this squad starting just specifically last year. They both had very good offseason. And you just look at the squad, you get excited. Mm-hmm. There's so much firepower in both sides. I think their confidence is building. And we saw what happens with PSG last year. When you catch fire in the Champions League, you can make a deep run. Hell, even Villa almost made a crazy semi-final run. And they did it with great offense. You look at Chelsea and Bayern Munich, man, they have some of the best offense in Europe in general. So that gets me excited. I think it'd be tough to hold those teams to a clean sheet. And when it comes to knockout football, man, it's almost always a big offensive weapons that come up big for you. I think that's why PSG ultimately won it last year. They just had too much firepower. So Chelsea this year really bolstered themselves. Bayern Munich too. I like their chances going into the Champions League.
If you had to pick one though, which one? I'm thinking if I had to pick between Chelsea and Bayern to win it, I'm going Chelsea.
I'm going Chelsea.
I'm going Chelsea.
I'm going Chelsea. I think Bayern Munich don't have quite the depth. And that might play a big factor in the second half of the season. Mm-hmm.